Next time you see a gigantic cargo ship glide past a harbor, you are only seeing half the truth. The steel hull, the stacked containers, the towering bridge, all of it sits above the waterline. But one crucial detail is hidden underneath. If we placed that ship in dry dock and drained the water away, you would see it appear. A round, blunt mass of steel protruding in front of the bow like a giant chin. It is called the bulbous bow or the pear-shaped bow. At first glance, this design looks wrong. If you want to rush through water, instinct says the bow should be sharp like a blade. And yet, on many large cargo ships, engineers attach a lump right where the water strikes first. It looks almost like a foolish design mistake, an obstacle slowing the ship down. That crude-looking block of steel is a small miracle of physics, helping this giant machine save thousands of tons of fuel and keeping your shopping bill from climbing higher. Welcome to Everyday Things Explained. Today, we decode the mystery hidden below sea level. When intuition loses. In daily life, we are used to thinking that the sharper an object is, the more easily it cuts through a medium. A sharp knife cuts better than a dull one. Airplanes have tapered noses. Sports cars have smooth bodies to reduce drag. That is true for small speedboats or light vessels that need to slice neatly through water. For thousands of years, from ancient Greek wooden boats to sailing ships of the 18th century, humanity designed ships that way. But a container ship longer than 3 football fields does not split the water. It displaces an enormous mass of water. At this scale, a sharp bow is no longer the solution. The real problem is that the ship creates its own enemy, the bow wave, the fuel thief. Seawater does not simply vanish to make room. When the bow moves forward, water is pushed to both sides, rises in front, and forms a large ridge of waves that travels with the ship. In movies, that wave looks beautiful. But to engineers, it is lost energy. Part of the engine's fuel has been spent lifting water upward, pushing it outward, and disturbing the surface of the sea. Put simply, the ship is paying money to create the very thing that resists it. Imagine walking through a swimming pool with water up to your chest. Every step has to push water out of the way. For a ship weighing hundreds of thousands of tons, that resistance becomes a massive fuel bill. So the real question is not, how do we make the bow sharper? The question is, how do we make that wave smaller? Making waves to reduce waves. This is where the lump under the bow begins to make sense. The pear-shaped bow does not make the ship sharper. It prepares the water before the main hull arrives. When submerged, it creates its own wave system. Engineers calculate this system so it meets the ship's bow wave at exactly the golden moment. When the main wave rises, the bulb wave pulls downward. The crest of one wave fills the trough of the other. The result? The waves cancel each other out. The water surface becomes flatter and the ship glides more smoothly. It works almost exactly like noise-cancelling headphones, which emit an opposite sound wave to cancel unwanted noise. The bulbous bow is the ocean's giant pair of noise-cancelling headphones. From war drawings to your laptop. The idea began in the year 1900. That was when Navy Admiral David W. Taylor noticed that warships with projecting underwater rams, originally meant to sink enemy ships, were accidentally moving faster than expected. But it was not until the 1960s, thanks to the boom in container ships and optimization mathematics from Japanese engineers, that the bulbous bow became a practical revolution. A good design can reduce fuel use by 10 to 15%, an enormous figure for ships that burn hundreds of tons of oil each day. This connects directly to you. Your laptop, shoes, shirt, phone components. Many of them once sat inside a container crossing the ocean. So, a steel curve beneath the waterline is not just an engineering story. It is one small part of the system, that helps goods travel halfway around the Earth at a lower cost. Not every ship should have it. If it is so good, why not install it on every ship? Because the bulbous bow is extremely picky. It only works at a certain speed and load, what engineers call the Froude number. If the ship runs too slowly or carries too light a load so that the bulbous bow rises upward, it falls out of rhythm. Then the waves do not cancel each other. They grow stronger together, becoming a steel brake that holds the ship back. That is why fishing boats, coastal ferries, and cruise ships often keep their traditional sharp bow designs. Looking back underwater. Next time you see a container ship leaving port, remember that the most interesting part may be hidden from view. The round mass of steel under the bow is not an unnecessary detail. It is adjusting pressure, weakening the bow wave, reducing drag, and helping the ship cross the ocean more efficiently. It does not make the ship stronger. It makes the problem smaller before the problem has time to become too large. And if an ugly lump can save millions of dollars, then why are the containers on deck always such boring rectangular boxes? It turns out that in maritime transport, being ugly in the right way can still be very economical. Thank you for watching Everyday Things Explained. See you in the next video.